Your legacy is a direct target for predators hiding behind a synthetic smile. You built your empire for decades, pouring blood and sweat into every brick while others were wasting time on cheap entertainment. Now, are you really ready to hand over the keys to your life to the first person who knows how to speak smoothly? Watch this video until the very last second, because what Elena Grace did won't just save your bank account, it will save your soul from total annihilation. We are starting a deep dive into a story that the elites try to hide just to keep you in the dark. My heroine was not a naive victim. At 62, she owned Emerald Hills, an agrotechnological giant valued at $15 million. She knew the smell of the earth, she knew the taste of victory, and she knew that in the world of big money, love is often just a cold tool for cynical robbery. If you feel that your hard work deserves absolute protection, hit the like button right now. This is your personal manifesto of power that solidifies your position in this world. When Marcus appeared in her life, an elegant widower with old-school manners and flawless charm, he didn't see a woman, he saw a balance sheet with 8 zeros. But Elena was 10 steps ahead. She did something that many would call paranoia, but it became her only salvation. She created an illusion that all her property belonged to a closed international trust, where she was merely a hired manager with no right to sell assets. Do you understand the power of this? She hid her absolute authority behind a mask of subordination. Subscribe to this channel right now if you want to master the art of hidden dominance, and never let manipulators take the upper hand over your life. Marcus played the role of the perfect man with frightening, almost surgical precision. He studied her habits, he knew exactly which vintage of wine she preferred after a hard day, and he knew which words to whisper in her ear to make her feel safe. But that safety was a calculated illusion. His children, Victor, Claire, and Alex, were his loyal hounds, ready to tear the throat out of anyone standing in the way of their enrichment. Victor, a bankruptcy lawyer with eyes like ice, was already mentally canceling her long-term contracts. Claire, a real estate shark, was valuing every acre of land for redevelopment, already drawing plans for a luxury estate where Elena's favorite vineyard stood. The youngest, Alex, was just waiting to burn her inheritance on supercars and casinos. They believed in the myth that in marriage, everything should be shared, but this myth is the most dangerous trap ever created to disarm the strong and make them vulnerable. Share this video with someone who is currently looking for love. Your one repost could prevent a total life catastrophe. The first months of marriage were like a Hollywood fairy tale. Flowers, breakfast in bed, endless talks about eternity. But behind the curtains of this stage set, a cold-blooded crime was already being prepared. Elena noticed how Marcus watched her intently whenever she opened the safe, how he casually asked for passwords to cloud storage, masking it as concern for security in case of an emergency. He began using soft hypnotic suggestion techniques, convincing her that work was exhausting her, that her radiance was fading under the weight of responsibility. Darling, you deserve peace. Let Victor check your documents, he's a professional. He'll find a way to make us even richer. Those words were dripping with venom. Every us and we was an attempt to erase her individuality and dissolve her property into their greed. Type "I am the mistress of my empire" in the comments to hardwire this command into your subconscious right now. The conflict began to simmer when Elena refused to sign a standard medical power of attorney. She read the fine print and saw a clause giving Marcus full right to control her bank accounts at the slightest sign of her being unwell. Marcus' face distorted for a second. The gentleman's mask slipped, revealing a predatory snarl. "Don't you trust me, Elena? After everything I've done for you?" This is classic gaslighting, designed to make you feel guilty for your own vigilance. Elena felt no guilt. She felt the thrill of a hunter who had finally spotted the beast. Victor and Claire began to act more aggressively. They secretly entered her office when they thought she was under the influence of their calming teas. They used spy equipment to copy her files. They didn't know that Elena had replaced all the originals with papers that, upon any attempt at legal activation, immediately sent a silent alarm to her private security and the police. The tension reached its breaking point when Elena realized they were ready for extreme measures. Marcus began mixing substances into her evening tea to cause cognitive impairment. The plan was simple: make her mentally incompetent and seize everything. But Elena was a master of the game. She poured the poison away, continuing to play the role of a weakening woman, lulling them into a false sense of security. She watched them celebrate their victory every evening in her own living room, already dividing the skin of a lion that was still very much alive. Their greed became their prison. They stopped noticing the details, they stopped seeing her as a threat. Subscribing to this channel is your insurance policy against such scenarios. We teach you how to see through walls. The climax came at the grand banquet celebrating their first anniversary. Marcus invited the entire high society to publicly secure his status. He stood on the stage, delivering a toast about love and loyalty, preparing to hand Elena a pen to sign the commemorative family fund. But instead, Elena walked to the projector. On the massive screen, the entire room saw recordings from her hidden cameras. Victor forging signatures, Claire discussing the land sale with developers behind her mother's back, and Marcus spiking her drink. The silence in the hall was deafening. At that moment, it wasn't waiters with cake who entered the room, but federal marshals. It turned out that Elena had hired the best private investigators, who uncovered Marcus' past. He was a serial matrimonial con artist whose previous wives had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The entire clan of vultures was arrested in front of the very people they wanted to impress. Elena remained at Emerald Hills. She didn't just save her money, she saved her dignity. She proved that a woman with a sharp mind is the most dangerous force on the planet. Your legacy belongs only to you by the right of your labor. Never let fake emotions cloud your judgment. Real love respects your boundaries, it doesn't try to break them. Remember, you are the architect of your own life. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment saying my legacy is protected. We will continue to reveal the truth so that you always stay on top. Your time has come.